So I think those realizations, well, I don't want to really speak for
We
you.
ended up, we're breaking up, essentially, or trying to figure out how to decouple in a ethical way. She asked me if I felt like I was in love with her. And I said, well, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I haven't necessarily felt that. We haven't felt that in a while.
So I've had like this sort of obsessive crush that like I've talked to Lauren a lot about. I kind of like put a feeler out for this crush, and he like didn't take the bait, and then I was like a little dejected. Then I sort of like realized like, oh, this crush is like it's a distraction from the pain I'm in, and it's really frustrating because this distraction's not working. Like, if this crush would just like blossom into what it could blossom into, it would be so helpful to just distract me from what's actually going on. And what's actually going on is the whole pregnancy thing. I fell into this belief that the only way to be valuable and the only way to be treated like a precious object was to be pregnant. I thought maybe it would make her treat me differently.
Can you describe moments where you feel taken care of?
When we actually have time and space just to sit and talk. Like, there's nobody that sees me like she does. And no one that supports me like she does. But it's more like it's like the day-to-day stuff that gets
When there's
tricky.
less time.
Been a while.
It's been months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. This one, it's been keeping passage of time.
What?
I said this one's been keeping track of the passage of time. The baby. See? I thought you would notice right away.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mazel tov.
Thanks.
Wait, so how many weeks are you?
I'm 3 months.
3 months.
Yeah. It really was like a decision I made in a day. Like I was switching over to the next pack of birth control and I just decided not to take it. And a week later I was pregnant. I think I was just angry about it for so long. And like in my vehemence and frustration, it was like, no, I'm not gonna take the pills. And I told him about it. And yeah, that was it.
When did you get panic attacks?
When was it?
Well, I think the first time that I noticed was when you went to the hospital over a year ago when I was drinking.
And I think I did it more to get his attention. I was like, please call Matthew, please call Matthew.
Yeah.
And then they took me to the ER and he came and, yeah.
But I guess you were really trying to
Trying to-
pull him
yeah.
out of whatever spiral he was going
Yeah.
through.
Yes.
Do you remember how you felt?
I felt very uncomfortable.
Say.
That I was there by your side, but I wasn't offering any type of support in the eyes of everyone else there.
But how do you mean that?
But it just seemed as though everyone knew that he was in a bad state because of me, and what am I even doing there?
You don't deserve to even be there.
Right. Is what it felt like. Is that true?
Well, I mean, you showed up intoxicated.
Yeah. I wasn't not going to show up.
Yeah.
And how did that affect you?
Well, that's when I stopped sharing things with my friends. Yeah. I mean, you know, I was maybe a little embarrassed.
You didn't want to be judged.
Kind of. Yeah.
So, how are you doing now? What does it do to you to think about this, to remember it?
I mean, I'm sad. I don't want, this is really hard to revisit all of this. It's a lot of shame. It's a lot of regret. It was just so unmanageable. I couldn't even manage myself.
Yeah.
So clearly I wouldn't be able to manage a relationship. I couldn't manage a job. I couldn't manage getting out of the bed unless it was to the liquor store.
Matthew, but I'm noticing that you're talking a lot, which I very much understand, about shame. But do you also have like compassion for yourself?
I mean, not so much compassion now.
It sounds like your way of orienting towards it is with a lot of your own judgment and shame.
Right.
Harsh.
Yeah.
Do you have thoughts about why this was happening to you?
I'm just trying to not think about drinking.
Right. I get that. I'm sort of, on one hand, I completely respect the fact that you gotta give yourself like the pace that you need to go
Right.
at. But I also feel a certain kind of urgency on your behalf, especially because I hear the level of self-blame that I feel like you need to start understanding what was going on there for you so you will grasp why you put yourself close to death.
At the end of the day, I mean, I don't know. It's a huge battle. I still blame myself because it was the decision I made to drink.
We added a new member to the family. I got her pup,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
her early birthday present.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he surprised me on Thursday. We came home and he had a puppy with a red bow on it. Like I don't even think I believed it for the first day or two because it's just, I've never had a dog. I've never received a gift like that. When he was explaining to my son, like, you know, it's our dog, but it's your mom's dog because your mom has been through a lot this year. And she deserves to be happy and have something like this. So,
Sweet.
Yeah.
So loving.
Yeah.
She I mean, I hope she knows now that I go to the end of the earth for her. You know? And when we said goodnight to each other, she asked for a hug and I gave her a hug and she started hysterical crying. And it took me like by surprise because you would think that it would come when you give them the gift. I've never heard her cry the way she cried as long as I've known her. You know, in my head, I'm like, it was not confused, but like wondering like what triggered that. You know, that's such strong cry. Like I didn't ask her about it. You know, I just let her be in the moment.
But do you understand?
No,
No.
no. You know,
You wanna
I was
say?
just there for her.
I don't know. It just kind of just like happened. It's just that no one has ever done anything like that for me. And I'm not talking about, you know, spending the money or it's just the gesture and what he had said about me having a hard year and him going out to do something like that. At that moment, I was so grateful and I just didn't know how. So when he hugged me, I just got hysterical. You know, I didn't mean it to come out.
No.
And I wasn't unhappy. It was just
I
like
know.
just this whoosh of emotions.
When you say, and you've said that before, that you don't know how,
Yeah.
maybe you can say some more?
I think it's like I don't know how to accept the happiness, maybe. There's always this block, something that just stops me. And I think maybe that's another reason why I got hysterical, because like there was no stopping the happiness.
You made your choice.
Yeah.
But you're in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know that, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
You wouldn't have got no puppy if I didn't know that.
Yeah.
How have you been feeling with each other?
Good. I mean,
Yeah, I
me
mean-
personally, good.
What has made for the most change?
Being able to express my feelings a little bit better.
The vulnerability thing. The realizing that the anger is more of a cover-up for the hurt.
Yeah.
And not wanting to say, or, you know, give that piece to somebody and say, you hurt me.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy because, you know, I always said I can trust her. Never had a doubt in it, but did I trust her enough to, you know, be vulnerable? Which I didn't for a long time.
Both of us had this big issue of pride and being right and not truly expressing what we were feeling at that exact moment. You know, whether it was hurt or sad or disappointed or whatever. And I think, that it was definitely hard for the both of us.
Yeah.
We still have our mishaps here and there.
Yeah,
But
I
no.
can't tell you the last time we had an argument and we didn't talk for days.
So good.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why I don't want it to end.
I was like, no, and I'm thinking about it. And I'm like, shit.
Yeah, I know. We're talking about all this progression. It's just like,
We could do it. We'll be okay. We could do it.
yeah. There was a year to have therapy.
This
This
was
is
the
the year.
No, and we didn't, that was not in the plan.
We've been married 8 years.
We have 2 children.
Yeah, we have 2 kids.
But right now, we're at a state where we haven't been intimate for a while. I think it's almost a year now.
Yeah.
So I just looked at it as, we have 3 options. One is that we just split up, and that's a worst case scenario. Open marriage would be the second route. She doesn't want that. So then the third case would be that we, reconnect, and that's what we're hoping for.
Reconnect physically.
Physically, everything. I
Yeah,
think it
kind of
just
like
is,
rebuild everything, find our way back to each other in a sense.
like when we first met, I didn't think it was going to get to this point.
What do you mean?
I didn't think that I was going to marry you.
She just thought she was gonna go around.
I thought I was just gonna be a hoe. That's literally, I thought I was just gonna go out there and just party. And then I ended up meeting her. And I was like, oh, she's great. And she's like, she fits like the ideal type of, this is what a good wife would look like. And then we both finished nursing school and it got more serious. The next step was to get married. So we got married. The next step after that came the children. And then I hit 40 and I just reflected back and I was like, oh shit, this is where I'm at. Like I want to see what else is out there. But she sees a marriage or a healthy marriage as being just monogamous. I think a healthy marriage can be both. But she doesn't feel that way.
I just feel like to be intimate with someone, it takes a lot. So for her just to be like, oh, I can be with you, I can be with you, I can be with you, it's like, where's the intimacy? Where's the real connection? Like you're just gonna go and basically spread your legs anywhere you can and that's okay,
You're hurt by that.
That's why I always say maybe it's me, maybe I'm the issue. Because if you look at our marriage externally, it's great. Like everybody sees her like she's an angel. Like she's so motherly. She just engulfs everything and kind of just is able to take care of everyone.
But something about it is affecting
Us.
us. Yeah.
Yeah.
desire.
Yeah. I'm at the point where it's
is-
like I'm not attracted to you right now.
That's a difficult thing to say, but there's probably more to say than just that.
Like I'm just not attracted to her?
I don't know if there's such a thing as just not attracted. There's something to say here.
I don't know. I feel like I'm how do you say this? Those sleeping bags when you go camping, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm just trying to get out the sleeping bag.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly how it feels like. Like it's nice, it's comfy. It's like it keeps me warm. I can sleep in it. You know, it's safe.
Yeah. I see. Too
But I just,
safe. Too safe.
I just want to get out.
Yeah. How are you feeling?
I feel hurt. I feel
Hurt.
lost. I don't know.
Lost, like you don't know what to do about all of this? Well, that's why the two of you are here.
You can talk. It's been a little rough. I will say after that session though, I slept really well, so that was nice.
Interesting.
Yeah, I feel like we pulled on something and it undid the whole sweater. Yeah.
Do you know what it was? What was the thread?
I don't think I was recognizing how frustrated I was with the relationship, or even just with myself. I feel honestly like I've lied to myself for most always, and I feel like that thread was this thread of truth, and then the whole thing just yeah.
Any thoughts?
So I think those realizations, well, I don't want to really speak for
We
you.
ended up, we're breaking up essentially, or trying to figure out how to decouple in a ethical way. She asked me if I felt like I was in love with her, and I said, well, I don't know. I don't know. Haven't necessarily felt that. We haven't felt that in a while.
I guess what Nadine also said is she's not sure if she's polyamorous anymore. She's not sure if she can manage being.
I feel very confused.
So I was like, okay, our entire relationship has revolved around non-monogamy and polyamory, and I feel that you have used polyamory as a vehicle to leave me. And I'm mad. I'm really mad. I'm disappointed.
We had a pretty intimate first 2 years, and then it just died. It just completely got cut off.
What killed it?
Her belief in abstinence.
Well, we started off casually, so I was having fun too without thinking it was going to really go anywhere.
But why is casual sex or intimacy okay, and when you get serious, it's not?
It's not okay. It wasn't. But I think maybe I was rebelling then. I was probably angry and upset and going through a breakup. And just meeting him, I felt was oh, he's a bad boy. So I'm going to do bad things with the bad boy that I'm not going to marry.
And you're suddenly allowing yourself some freedom internally.
Well, it only goes for a very short period of time where I can just let it go and just let my flesh just do whatever it wants. And then I'm hit with a whole bunch of shame and guilt and this mental torment later on.
But the struggle is with doing things or even wanting things?
Yeah, both. So it's not even just the act of doing it. It's just
just any desires?
Yeah. For example, masturbation. That I feel the same way. So it's not
It's not just what you do with someone else. It's sexuality in general.
In general. But now there's nothing to feel guilty about. We're married and this is something we should be enjoying. But there is no urge or desire for me wanting him unless I had to focus. And when I do focus and it actually happens, A, it hurt, and 2, he'd get disappointed because I couldn't finish, or he couldn't finish.
So, are the two of you operating in this case that the idea of sexuality is intercourse?
Yes.
Okay. Well, maybe.
Right? Yeah. Right.
Well, when couples meet this kind of impasse, they have to get a little creative and expansive about like how they define sexuality. What if you're aiming to just restore some sense of intimacy, physical intimacy between the two of you, not intercourse, coming, just intimacy and some basic pleasure? Intercourse off the table.
I'm all on board for it. I'm afraid he's gonna push to the next, and then he's gonna express disappointment. And
Okay, well, can you not do that?
Well, anything's better than not,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. So many other things you can do.
I just don't know what it looks like.
I'm sure you can think of what it looks like.
I moved to America when I was 3 or 4 years old. And then that's when we found out I was deaf.
Wait, what do you mean that's when you found out you're deaf?
I think my mother was in denial. Her intention, her noble intention, was to have me function as a hearing person and not to be a deaf person. So no American Sign Language. I was born to read lips. And so my deaf identity was suppressed growing up.
Yeah.
And because I was growing up as a child with no full access to communication and language, I was super isolated. I was also very isolated in high school and in college, undergrad, and even at grad school. I was the only deaf person in the room. And it wasn't until a friend of mine introduced me to the gay community and my life just changed afterward. I became much more confident.
Do you sign?
I sign a little bit, but yeah, it's not as fluent as I'd like it to be. Yeah.
And then when COVID happened, I relied on lip reading, wearing face masks.
Oh.
Shit.
Right.
Yeah. During COVID, the mask thing, yes, I assumed that role of the adult, of the more responsible one, the accessible hearing person who's now having to make sure my partner's okay. But I struggle because I don't want to feel like the fucking parent. I don't like it. It's not fun. It's not fun to be the responsible one all the time.
I think it's important to point out that your mom died of COVID.
Correct. I think that was the point of shifting as Mondo becoming an adult.
What happened?
She passed away January of 2021, and everything changed. Like, everything. The dynamic between us changed, the dynamic of me and my family changed, and suddenly I became the adult in my family, and the one was responsible for everything all of a sudden. Then I started to reflect how it's manifesting in my relationships, and especially with Kyle. And I was just like, ooh, this is getting tough.
Tell me.
With Kyle, the anxiety that I've been feeling is associated with the new thing that we're taking on as like an open relationship.
Oh.
Wow, that almost like didn't want to come out of my mouth, didn't it? Kyle suddenly introduced this concept of, I want to have sexual relations with other men, whether you're in it or not. I want to explore this part of my life, and I need you to move forward with me because I will not accept monogamy. You know, he pretty much said, it's either this or that.
What do you mean it's either this or that?
It's either this, you accept it, or that, which is bye. Like, we may have to part ways.
I don't like being contained.
No. And that's partly why I also love him very much. But if it was up to me, the choice would be no. Like,
no open relationship.
No open relationship. And it's not because of control of any sorts of whatever. It's really just me, like, it just seems less messy, less stuff to deal with, right? Like, opening the relationship, I think, is just welcoming a slew of new problems, right? But because I know this is something that has a lot to do with Kyle's identity, I have to be flexible. I love him so much. I mean, I just absolutely adore him. So there's a part of me that feels like I have to release that anxiety in order for this to happen, so that he can be happy, so that he can have that experience, so that he can feel like he's getting something that he needs. And I'd love to figure out, why is it so important? Like, why is it so important? It doesn't make any sense to me, but it is, and I want to understand why.